Welcome back. This episode is about O.D.E, O-D-E, out-of-body experience. I personally haven't had any. I've heard some weird stuff on it. Jomis, or is it Homus? I don't know, it depends on what country they're from. Jomis 1676, or Homus 1676. My husband had a major heart attack. He finished his work shift convincing himself he pulled a muscle, but after a while he decided to drive himself to the ER. Just as he got there, he started having what they call a widowmaker heart attack. He managed to get into the ER, and that was it. He said he left his body and was above watching them trying so hard to revive him. He felt no pain. The doctor was going to stop, but there was a nurse that begged him one more time. He said that was the shock that literally slammed him back into his body, and the pain was back. He recovered well, and we have some more time together thanks to that wonderful nurse. Couldn't imagine that, having the perspective of seeing yourself. Yeah, some of these kind of creep me out. Sarah Bell Bradburn, 7/21. I coded during an emergency operation on my spine after a previous accident and a serious CSF leak. I remember leaving my body and seeing the surgeons working on me. I nearly crossed over before I realized someone else I didn't recognize was in the room, who wasn't scrubbed out and could see me out of body. He shook his head no, and I woke up in anesthesia recovery. A few days later, I asked my mom about the man, in case she knew if someone had come in during the ordeal. I thought it may have been a specialist, but she assured me I'd seen her dad when I coded. He passed away a few years ago before my birth. I'd never seen a picture of him, not till before. It was the wildest thing. She'd seen his initials on 3 cars when she rushed me to the ER too. First time she noticed or seen them since his passing. He was just there to let us know it wasn't my time. There's that anesthesia again. Man. That was in the last episode. Marikey Marie 7622. It happens. We moved into a house when I was about 14. We were all upset about having to move. It was rushed and definitely not the house we wanted. So our moods were a little bitter to say the least. We threw boxes here and there and kinda halfway moved in and never really settled. But we misplaced all of our birth and medical records. My mom wasn't able to get us into school and definitely couldn't afford to replace 6 birth certificates at $55 each, 6 social security cards, and passports. After 8 weeks, I dreamed of a man walking up to me with a dog. The dog talked and said, "Those important papers you need are in a box that fell behind the tall cabinets in the garage." I woke up at 6 a.m., waking up my mom to tell her. She was like, "We don't even have cabinets in the garage." Then she remembered the movers told her that they put stuff behind a cabinet wall. They were there. That's incredible. See, I can get behind that. It can't just be all bad, huh? The worst would be is if you're seeing yourself, and instead of seeing like a loved one, you saw like, what do people talk about in sleep? Like the Hat Man or something? You see that guy in the room with you. Probably out of luck right there. That would be, oof. Alright, moving on. Tom Raw, 4893. Back in 1964, I was 17 and suffered severe psychological trauma as a result of a fatal car crash in which my mother was killed. I suffered panic attacks, and each night when I went to bed, even before sleep, I would rise up from the bed. I was conscious and frightened by the experience, and came to fear going to bed. Eventually, these experiences stopped, although every now and again I would awaken to find myself crawling along the floor in the dark, far from my bed, but, as I came to realize, still back in bed. I reasoned at the time that the rising from the bed was a defense mechanism, perhaps, to separate my mind from my body. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that coping mechanism, something like that. Our minds are incredible. What we'll do to block out trauma or get us out of a dark place. Disassociation. That's what it is. How we can disassociate ourselves and what our mind can do to take us away from the moment. Yeah, pretty dark stuff. All right. Share 7,777. I have a 14-year-old daughter who has endured the traumatic experiences of out-of-body experiences since the age of 6. She has honed in on this skill and can now go through walls and doors, and has had unpleasant experiences with bad entities. In her spiritual separation, she can feel the energy of her surroundings and has often recounted the negative energy in the building that we presently live in. She has told me that other people who have passed on have been there for a long time. She can also pick up their auras. My daughter is afraid to sleep at times, and it kills me to see my child going through this. I am doing research as well as trying to find resources that can help us. I can't keep watching my daughter suffer with this without getting some sort of help. That's kind of tough to think about a kid going through that. You fap. Careful now. When I was 17, I was hanging out with the wrong crowd of people and ended up getting tricked into doing PCP. When they told me it was just weed, and it wasn't. Taking 7 hits, I was done. I ended up in the hospital. I was unresponsive. I saw myself staring at my own body and all the nurses running around. I went to the waiting room and saw my mom and dad running in the hospital after they got the call. I kid you not, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't talk, just observing, and after a couple hours I woke up and told my mom what I saw. I'll never forget that day and what I've experienced. To this day, I'm grateful to be alive. You know, I wonder if it's got to be your soul, right? We're just souls in these, meat bags, or however you want to put it. Yeah, I really like the nurses were talking about when like a patient died, their weight went down, like something left their body. Ties into this, obviously. Man, this is neat, ain't it? Oh, Hans Schwanman? Is it Hans Chowman? HANSCHOUW, man. 4536. Alright, let's try. When a person is occurring often in my dreams, that person is going to die on short notice. I don't kill them myself, so strange. Well, thanks for that clarification. I didn't think you killed them. Now I've got my suspicions, but people keep showing up, keep dying in my dreams. Don't know what's going on, but I thought I'd let someone know. Also, I didn't kill him. Not me. One of you guys maybe. Not me, though. Alright, y'all keep an eye on hands. JR, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? JR, who are you? I had an out-of-body experience a couple seconds in preschool, about age 5 on the playground. I was sitting on the sidebars of the seesaw set. The sun was warm, bright, and in my eyes, so I closed my eyes for a couple seconds, but when I did, I was standing, floating, at eye height in front of myself. I remember seeing myself, my hair, my closed eyes, and my shirt. Then I opened my eyes and I was in my body. I remember not knowing what happened, so I kept trying to close my eyes, but it never happened again. It took me years to understand what I was experiencing. I've never had I already mentioned this, I haven't had an out-of-body experience. The closest thing was sometime maybe 2021 maybe. I think I was having real bad tooth pain. Real bad. It was some sort of pain. It might not have been tooth, but I think I was trying like ibuprofen, aspirin, a few of those things for the first time. Before that, I don't usually take that stuff. But before that, I partook in some Mally Jane, some devil's lettuce, we might say. There was 2 different strands. I can't remember, like start with an S and then indica. I think that's one. I don't know. This ain't really my department. But someone I knew was all like, "Hey, this should be able to help you." Took some, went to sleep, or I thought I did, because I got into bed. It did help. Whatever. Again, I'm pretty sure it was tooth. Helped, and all I remember was the only way I can explain it, only way I can describe it, is how we all have auras, like right around ourselves or what have you, or somas, whatever you want to call these. It felt like I was that. It felt like I could feel myself sleeping. I guess it would be sort of out of body, but I wasn't like staring at myself. I wasn't in a different room. I just was observing my situation right outside of my body, I guess. Like, I'm sounding like I get it, but I don't know how to explain it. It hasn't happened again, but a lot of people are all like, yeah, I wasn't medicated or whatnot. I was definitely medicated, but yeah, it was one of those two, and maybe that has something to do with it, but that's never happened in any case prior or previously to that. But yeah, wish I would have wrote it down because I know our memories are kind of crap, but alright, that was an experience that really stuck with me. I mean, I forgot about it till we were looking at this, but yeah, now that's out there. Melissa Joe Cordell Fitty. In August of 2020, I was hit by a car in a parking lot and I was nearly killed. The following month, as I lay unconscious in a hospital bed, my youngest son Christian overdosed and passed away. Nobody told me because I was unconscious. But the entire time I was unconscious, I was seeing Chris in my room. When I regained consciousness, I was still seeing Chris, and I just thought we were both very sick. One day, my parents, who have also passed away, came into my room and took Chris away. I was sitting in the chair while they made my bed, and Chris was standing beside me. My dad took Chris out into the hallway with my mom following. I followed behind them trying to stop them, but in the hallway, there was a very tall man in a long white coat, and he just raised his hand and pointed at me, and I fell back into my body that was lying on the floor in front of my chair. This was my first out-of-body experience. I had another one, and that was a crossover to heaven or a part of heaven. I couldn't imagine waking up, all the emotions, especially if you're able to remember everything that, oh, clearly you do, because you're talking about your out-of-body experience, but waking up and then like what's real, what isn't, everything you're questioning. If anything's gonna make you a believer, it's that, you know. You're seeing dead relatives, and then your son's with you this whole time, and that really is probably throwing you off. And then hearing the news right when you wake up, yeah, that'd really change. That'd really probably mess you up. A Parox 8. A couple of nights ago, I was attempting a lucid dream until my body went into paralysis. I felt myself rolling over, even though I knew it wasn't me moving. I remember seeing the other side of my room, even though I was facing the wall. It scared me, and I forced myself to wake up, which was hard to do. Did I astral project? And how can I do it again? I'm so frustrated I missed out on the opportunity. Now, you probably got it again. What was it? Keep trying. Okay, you were attempting to lucid dream, man. My problem was, dang, going into paralysis. I've heard of astral projection. I haven't really looked into it. I think it ties into the out-of-body experience, though, except maybe you're in control. I don't know. Don't take it from me. You gotta look it up. See, I watched too many Goosebumps like growing up, so all I'm picturing is episode you're trying to do it, and then some entity gets in your body and you're stuck out astral planes or something. I don't know. That sounds terrifying. Yeah, I'm good. We'll leave it to these guys. How do we say that? A chastity? Something like that. I'm sorry. They should study me. Haha. I've had a few. My first one was after I took an OD of naproxen sodium, and I got so sick I left my body. The next time I recall was a car accident I was in. I've experienced sleep paralysis many times, and had an out-of-body experience while in between sleeping and waking. I also experienced it one more time, when under anesthesia, experiencing anesthesia awareness. There's so much about the brain we don't understand. Trauma has to be a huge trigger for out-of-body experience. I have PTSD from many things. I've experienced abuse as far back as I can remember. I already depersonalized a lot. And if out-of-body experience is the extreme depersonalization, then I can see when my brain gets pushed there sometimes. I don't know anyone who has had these experiences except sleep paralysis. I definitely don't know anyone who has had as many as I have. I feel crazy sometimes when I try and tell people about things I've been through. But I'm trying to unapologetically share my truth. At least I can on the internet. Edit, I forgot one. I was strangled unconscious and I left my body and started floating up. I know you can't text tone or type tone. I get that, but some of these people seem like it's so casual or say it so casually. And, that's the worst part about not face-to-face experiences or talking and what have you. I didn't think it'd go that way. With the whole, they should study me, haha. Watch this video. There's tons of comments. I'm just trying to get through the ones that bunch of personal accounts. That's why I like reading the comments. It's like when people put in the comments, it seems more authentic than them trying to make a production or make some sort of entertainment. A lot of them probably even realize, hey, this most likely won't get read, I would assume. I'm sure there's plenty that are all like, this has to get put out in the world and what have you, but there's so many of these videos and so many comments, thousands of that, and it's just stacked on comments. Yeah, that's what kind of makes a lot of these comments really interesting. A lot more common than I thought. I figured it'd be just a really fringe group of people. And again, there's probably a decent amount that are just commenting to get some attention and whatnot. I get that. Even if most are fake or what have you, pretty neat. GMC 53. I like that. I want everyone reading this comment that is watching this video to know something. Not every out-of-body experience is pleasant. I have had one that has been quoted as diagnosed by professional psychologists. Mine in particular was very disturbing, scary, and even traumatizing. It was so scary that I told my closest friend the details about it, and she, number one, did not believe me, and number two, had to stop me in my tracks when I was explaining what happened because she felt disturbed and genuinely scared that she was going to have nightmares after listening to it. Not all of them are pleasant. Follow at your own risk. Please make this the top comment, not for clout. I need people to be aware. Now I kind of want to know. Okay. Oh, there's comments. Okay. There's comments. Here we go. Yeah, someone asked what's up. Okay, yeah, he did. Yeah. Now I'm curious. Whoa. We got a long one. GMC. Okay, this is what happened. He was replying to someone. Yes, if you do not mind, but if any time you get disturbed, please do not read further. I'm getting a little nervous. CIA is gonna bust through the door in just a minute. I will start in the next sentence. He's building this up. First off, I was meditating in the forest. I had such things as sounds get very, very loud, but after a while, they got extremely quiet. My brain went into a blank mode. Even when I tried to think of thoughts, it was empty, and I was too lazy to think of them once I started. It was extreme peace. Thoughts would enter my brain of my childhood, and it was always traumatic incidences in my childhood, but for some reason, they seemed peaceful. I started to feel as I was one with the forest. I felt as though I was the wind and the trees around me, and the lake near me, and absolutely everything. Then the darkness in my eyes took over, and I couldn't feel anything. Here's where the out-of-body experience kicked in. First, I want to explain that I did not see anything. It was pure feeling, but I could also feel and see what things looked like. My vision was empty. I will start by saying there is no such thing as walls, floor, ceiling, space, area, time, or anything that you can think of that exists. But what did exist was what I can explain as a space of blackness. I was a glowing ball of light that was shrinking and expanding over and over. I was not in my body. I felt a giant entity on a chair far, far away. This entity was nor male, female, animal, or anything of this world. This next part is disturbing. Readers, please advise. Woo! Alright, so far we're handling it pretty well. Alright, we're doing okay. The chair was surrounded by gold coins and golden objects. The chair was golden with a red cushion and a splintered wooden back end. I then zoomed in super, super close, and I was finally in my body, but I was still in the out-of-body experience. Next part is very disturbing. The entity in this chair had the skull of a deer and twisted horns of a ram. It's really getting interesting now. Okay. He said these words to me, but I did not hear them. I felt them radiate through the ball of light, except I was still in my body in the out-of-body experience. Except I was also the ball of light. I can't remember where I was looking. He said to me in these words, "You have been here before, and you will be here again." I can only explain this entity as several words, which are dominant, friendly, disturbing, intimidating, kind, scary, loving, and frightening. All of a sudden, the entity disappeared, and I was alone with the chair. But the chair was also not there. Keep in mind that I never, ever saw anything like this. It was pure feeling, but not even a feeling. There is no word in the English dictionary to describe it. I was still in the out-of-body experience. The chair was gone, and I sunk into an endless pit. The entity was back in his chair watching me fall at immense speeds into this pit. The pit had fire in it, but I could not see the fire. The fire was darker than fire, almost as if it was burning something that wasn't there. After this, I woke up from the out-of-body experience, and I forgot about the out-of-body experience until I opened my eyes from the meditation that I also forgot I was in. I was back in the forest, and everything seemed way too quiet, and I was peaceful yet disturbed at the same time. I walked back to my truck and drove home from the forest. The rest of the day was oddly quiet and peaceful yet eerie at the same time. After this, I lost a ton of memory from my childhood and stuff. 2 years later, I have developed diagnosed psychotic features that I have now. I have not talked about them, and I cannot talk about them in a YouTube comment section. Anyway, the moral of this? Not all out-of-body experiences are fun. This was traumatizing, and I remember every detail of it to this day, which is now currently 2 years past the out-of-body experience, and will be 3 years on May 28th. Please do not practice trying to go into an out-of-body experience. Just let it happen if it happens. I wish you luck upon your journey, my friend. Have a good day. Okay, I was expecting a lot. I mean, oh man, yeah. That seems like quite the trip. Or it seems like a trip. And that's the thing. What Peace to the Madman would be maddening, right? So, I really don't know what to make of that. Alright, I'll probably call it there. Tales from the comments. I was your host, Cockles. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you on the next one. Take care.